Hey, it's FYF Sports, man. It's Lamont. We back. Another reaction video, man. Got some breaking news out of the NFL. And look, we've been covering this Deshaun Watson case from the onset, right? You guys know how we've been covering it. When we covered it last year, obviously YouTube didn't like it too much. They restricted our ability to go live, and they just wanted us to stop talking about it because we was dropping too many facts and elements of the case that nobody was out here talking about. But yet we are still dropping bombs, and we are putting the news out there because, again, these types of stories, the information I'm about to give you guys today, this is not information that you will hear somebody like Molly Karam on ESPN. You're not going to hear Sarah Spain of ESPN saying this. Why? Because it favors Deshaun Watson. They are all about trying to tear these guys down. They're all about coming out with the messy headlines, topics, accusations. But when it comes time to expose the other side, when the lies start falling out, oh, they want no parts of that. And that's what we got for you guys today. So a woman in the Deshaun Watson case has switched. It was found out that she switched her account and tone following the accusations, after the accusations surfaced, and how she was caught is even crazier. I mean, this is crazy right here. So again, this story was kind of touched upon by Complex News. I did a little bit of researching and digging on Complex myself. Got some excerpts from the NFL to supplement some of the information that I had, and the information that I just found out is crazy. So basically, Deshaun Watson has settled 20 of the 24 cases. And so it says, despite settling all but 4 of the civil suits against him, Deshaun Watson continues to make headlines after he was accused of sexual assault. So he's still in the headlines, yet he's actually in the headlines now. When you look at Baker Mayfield traded away, a lot of people are saying, does that mean Deshaun Watson's not going to face a lengthy suspension? Is Deshaun Watson going to play? Nobody really knows. But again, that was something that a lot of people were watching. People are going to have their own thoughts and narratives on that. That's a different topic. It's now, and this is not alleged anymore. This is all factual now. But one of the victims, one of the accusers, it's been found out that she switched her account and tone once the sexual assault misconduct allegations surfaced and this civil case against him started. And so there is a recording of an interview. There is a recording that the NFL has of an interview with the adult son of one of the 12 women that the NFL interviewed in the Deshaun Watson case. And the son stated his mom was initially complimentary of Deshaun Watson after her massages with him. And in her conversations about, massages, messages, any types of dealings that they had, she was giving him big praise. He's respectable. He's a great dude. But then all of a sudden, the son exposes that the mom later switched her account and tone after the negative allegations started to surface about Watson. And then she saw that she could be a part of this massive civil case. Excuse me. And I told you guys that a lot of the women in this case are looking at it like a money grab, because it's not difficult to attach yourself to a class action civil suit, right? Because a civil suit is only as strong as the numbers, right? A civil suit means, when you have a class action civil suit, it means we don't have to bring as much evidence because we have the numbers. We have the numbers making the accusations against you. We don't need as much evidence. Remember, this was a case that he didn't get charged criminally. There was not enough there to charge him criminally in 2 counties. Lower preponderance of evidence in a civil case. So in a civil case, they're trying to win the optics battle. The optics of 20 women, the optics of 24 women just looks bad. But it says the son, the son intimated his mother intended to reward him for his silence. The mother told the son, "Don't tell anybody about what I told you. And when I get this money from this class action suit, I got you. That's what she told the Sun. And this was told to the NFL investigators by the son of one of the victims. And it says, there's a feeling that the NFL was initially cagey about the details that they had learned from the woman's son. After only mentioning they were interviewing him in their report. And it says the son's recording was later reviewed by Watson's side, revealing the aforementioned details. And presumably it illuminated why this particular accuser was not included with the 5 women the NFL ultimately focused on at the hearings. So again, what did the NFL do? Right? We got this judge, we got this arbitrator, this independent arbitrator who's supposed to make an impartial ruling. They interviewed 12 women, but this impartial, so-called impartial arbitrator only focused on 5 women and excluded this one woman who her son, who the NFL interviewed, said that she was all cap. She's lying about the whole thing. And it says the NFL also presented, and the NFL also was told that they presented no evidence of violence. There was no evidence of force, threat, coercion in the allegations of the 5 women that they focused on. And this was in front of the arbitrator, Sue Robinson. So, man, this is crazy right here. And so I keep telling people that when you're so messy, see, because when you're dealing with an NFL player, a lot of these women were dealing with an NFL player. A lot of them couldn't keep their mouth shut about it. A lot of these women went and told people, oh, I'm dating him. Oh, I'm messing with him. Oh, I'm doing this. And now those people that they told is coming out the woodworks with text messages, with witness testimony, just like this woman's son. What does the son have? The son gains nothing from being honest with the NFL. I think the son is probably putting himself in Deshaun Watson's shoes, saying, I wouldn't want that to happen to me. So I'm going to have to go in here and be honest when I speak to these NFL investigators. I have to go in here and tell these NFL investigators the truth. The truth of the matter is that my mom, who is one of the accusers, wasn't saying all this stuff about the small towel. She wasn't saying all this stuff about wanting to get massaged on the inner thigh or the inner buttock. She wasn't saying all that. She was complimentary of him, wanted to see him again, wanted to have more than just massages, go on hopefully dates, was enthusiastic about their time together. And then when the opportunity came that they could cash in, because a lot of these women probably took to social media to try to see if he had a woman, if he had anything else that was going to prohibit him from committing to them. And once they saw that, okay, he's probably not going to be able to commit to me, I was probably a one-off. So how can I capitalize off this situation? And that class action, the class action civil case, was the easiest way to capitalize off of it. Don't have to put my name and information out there publicly, even though that was released anyway. Don't have to do much. All I have to do is kind of give a statement and allow the attorneys to do the rest of the work. This guy's an NFL player. He's just signed a massive deal. He don't want to be suspended a year. He's going to do everything possible to get this out of the way. They probably going to settle for millions just to get this off the docket. It's an easy money grab for a lot of these women, if not all of them. And as I've told you guys before, their cases are starting to fall apart day by day. Now, 20 of the cases are settled. They took the settlement. 20 of the women were smart because they probably said, hold on, I'm only here for the money anyway. Let me go ahead and cash out whatever I can get, because the 4 remaining, y'all whole world, everything's about to come falling down on your head, because it's going to be too hard to keep up with the lies. It's going to be, you can't pay off enough people to keep your secrets. this legal team that Deshaun Watson has is going to figure it out. And once they start to figure it out and start putting two and two together, the only thing that's going to happen if this goes to trial is you're going to get embarrassed publicly when it happens. So, as it stands right now, Watson is still under investigation by the NFL. As Commissioner Roger Goodell, they say Roger Goodell is seeking an indefinite suspension of at least a year for the quarterback. That's just rumored. But unfortunately, with the independent arbitrator, he don't really have that choice. The arbitrator is going to decide the punishment. And the arbitrator has already spoken with 4 women, who all of the 4 women that the NFL has focused on in their investigation. All of the 4 women that the NFL is focused on in their investigation, they have already admitted that there was no violence, no coercion, nothing forceful, anything wrong. And then one of the 12 women that the NFL interviewed, they interviewed her son as well. And how they knew to interview her son, I don't know. Maybe she thought that her son would corroborate her story. But unfortunately, the son, who's an adult, he's over 18, actually told the NFL the truth. And said no, she actually was cool with him. They had a working relationship that could potentially have turned romantic, and that's how she made it sound. She was high on him. She was complimentary of him. She was enthusiastic about doing the massage again. I don't know where all this extra stuff. I don't know where all this stuff coming from now. Talking about she had to run up out the massage parlor and crying in the car. He didn't know nothing about none of that. That was all added on. He said that he specifically said she switched up. She switched up. Her whole account switched up when she saw the money and the dollars and cents were out there to get. And not only that, which this could potentially be criminal. She told her son, "I'll pay you to lie. I'll pay for your silence. Don't tell nobody what I told you. When I get this money, I'm gonna break you up." That's what she said. And he told this to the NFL. So when things like this get leaked out, and you still see, if it is true, you still see Roger Goodell pushing for a suspension of close to a year, that looks bad on Roger Goodell, because that tells us right here, he's playing the optics. He's catering and making a decision based on the Sarah Spains and the Molly Karams of ESPN, because they get so over dramatic and worked up over things that aren't even criminal. They keep alluding to, oh, he should be arrested if X, Y, and Z is true. The problem is all of the things that are being alleged, one by one, are starting to fall apart and get disproven. One by one. And now, as I said before, when you start to prove that a lot of these women are simply attaching their names to this case because they had some type of relationship with them and they thought it was an easy money grab, once they start to dissect and start to prove that, with the few remaining women left in this case, this is gonna look like a trash can civil case that belongs in a trash can. And I think the saddest part about it is when things like this, and this is not alleged, everything that I said right now is facts. What the son said is on record. The NFL has the video. The interview was recorded and the interview was leaked. These things are etched in stone. The funny thing right now is you won't hear Molly Karam come out and talk about it. She won't come out and be like, that's a disgrace to women. You should be ashamed of yourself. For all the real victims out there, they won't ever say that. It's another group simply trying to protect their own at all costs. And Molly Karam and Sarah Spain, and I put them at the forefront of this because they're the 2 biggest women. I mean, you can add a few more women in there, but there's going to come a time where they're going to be held accountable for some of these things and not being impartial in some of the things that they say about some of these athletes. And it's sad that more content creators ain't calling them out. I know Jada Black, he's one of the few that calls them out. But outside of that, ain't nobody calling out the fake. It seems like everybody just wants to see the messy collapse of NFL star Deshaun Watson. They want to see him go down in shambles and shame because these allegations might be true. That's what it seems like people want to see. But see, the unfortunate reality is we from day one, When we did that live stream, and before these women were able to delete their IG pages and we exposed their IG pages, many of them were selling themselves already. Semi-nude photos sitting on a massage table saying book an appointment. Very suggestive. We know what you're selling. Why delete that? Why are all of the social media messages deleted? But Deshaun Watson has the full accounts that indicate a different story. Why is nobody talking about the deleted messages? Why is nobody talking about the history? Why is nobody talking about the two women who admitted they were prostitutes? But nobody's talking about that. Everybody's just talking about Deshaun Watson and how they don't want him to play and how what he did was despicable and how all of these massages is just something has to be wrong. No. The only reason why there's an illusion that something could be wrong is because he has millions and millions of dollars. And people want to find any way possible to get a piece of the pie. Again, man, more breaking news about the Deshaun Watson situation. I really hope that the NFL takes all of this stuff into consideration and doesn't suspend this man for a game, because the legal system's already said that we're not touching them. The civil system, the civil cases are starting to fall apart for the last few women that are remaining. People are starting to out these women as liars. This is the third time that they've been these women, because now that they've grouped themselves together in a civil case, now it's all of them together. So if one of them is a liar, they all liars to me, because they've all attached themselves to this one case, and they've all had very similar stories that I told you guys. I said it. They all seem scripted because the stories were too similar. So when one of them lies, they all liars. If I'm on that jury, you can't have one person get caught lying and then they're able to show proof of it, and then you say, but okay, she was lying, but the rest aren't telling the truth. No, y'all all lose credibility when I'm able to pick out multiple lies, and that's what's going on in this Deshaun Watson case. The women in this case are getting exposed. You guys, let me know what you think about the video. What do you think about Deshaun Watson? What are your predictions for the NFL season? Does this man start? Is Roger Goodell going to get his wish and see Deshaun Watson suspended for the entire season? Or is this independent arbitrator going to do her job correctly? Is she going to weigh the evidence fairly? Because based on the mounting evidence that's starting to suggest that a lot of these women on this case were lying, there's no way a judge in her right mind would say he's done anything that's still worthy of a suspension, especially if the criminal system has already said we can't touch it. And it wasn't just the criminal system, you guys. These were grand juries. These were his peers. These were regular, everyday people just like you and me who looked at the evidence and said, nah, we ain't stupid. This don't make sense. This ain't adding up to what y'all say. But it's FYF Sports, man. It's been another great podcast episode. We will be back with more sports and news, man. Make sure you guys tune in, man. We're going to be going live. We're going to be talking about this topic. One of these live streamers is going to focus in on just Deshaun Watson. And we got to talk about it. And we got to start to get to the truth, because if we don't talk about it, no one else is. So only a handful of people are calling it down the middle on both sides. And there's so many people out there. Look, we know if something negative comes out, we know Molly Karam and Sarah Spain got that, because they're going to be all over that. But if something comes out that exposes the women as liars, well, we got to handle that, because they're going to run away from them takes. So make sure you subscribe. Tune in to FYF Sports, man. We got a lot more content. We're going to follow this case to the end. And hopefully this can be one of the few cases in the NFL where the player gets his just due, man, and he's exonerated from these ridiculous accusations. But hey, it's FYF Sports, another great podcast episode. We will be back with more sports and news. But until then, it's FYF Sports, and we out.